So Marc Broom, here we are at Merchant Taylor's just after training, coming off the back of our first loss in the Vitality Blast. How are you feeling after a couple of days to reflect on that performance?
Yeah, I suppose you could say we're feeling a bit disappointed, but it was a great game of cricket. Glamorgan came out and played the T20 style of cricket that we would, I think, be trying to play ourselves up top, especially in the power play. They came out very positive, very hard, had a very clear game plan and executed superbly. And, you know, I don't think we bowled poorly by any means, but I think they batted brilliantly and got themselves ahead of the game quite early. And it's then very difficult because you're always then playing catch up when you're in that position, which I thought actually from overs kind of 14 to 20, I thought we caught the game up really well. And even though we end up chasing a score of 170, that could easily have been 200 after 10 overs the way they were going. So, yeah, every game gives us opportunities to learn and develop. And we've been very fortunate that we've been on the back of wins each time when we look in. Now we're on the back of a loss. So it gives us a chance to really go into depth into what went wrong, what we need to do to be better moving forward, but what actually still we did really well. So, yeah.
And you touched on it there, but often there's more to learn from a loss than there is from a win. What were your kind of key takeaways and what you've been working on today going into the next game?
So the key takeaways probably for our first three games have been our batting power play. We technically we're very, very good up top, but it's that ability to strike hard and strike first and clear the inner ring and kind of put bowlers under pressure from the first over. So what we've done out here today is kind of set up a scenario where we've got a couple of good pockets to hit, but you have to hit them hard to get any value out of it. And they've shown tonight that they have the ability to do it. But that's in a non-pressured, non-match environment. The key now is taking that learning from what we've done into the game against Gloucestershire and see if we can put that into practice then.
And of course, lots of positives as well. Another 50 back-to-back for Saskia and George getting 33 of 20 amongst lots more positives. So kind of what were your thoughts on those takeaways, looking from a more positive angle?
Yeah, I mean, George's innings was outstanding, I thought, because it was a support role where you would normally look to just get off strike and rotate, get that batter off strike. But it was a support role that actually required boundaries with it as well. It's quite a tough role to play, and Saskia just showed the class that she's got in leading from the front once again with the bat, you know. And this was probably her standout innings of the lot, to be honest. Up against a good bowling attack, chasing a big score, but allowing momentum to keep going. Where at one point we looked like we were going to get really close, and her and George's partnership got us to a point where a little bit of fortune our way, a couple of slightly different decisions from a batting perspective, and we're in the seat to really chase it down. So, but it didn't go that way. But I thought those two with the bat exceptional once again. Yeah.
And to go back to a first loss of the Blast, only second loss of the whole season, how kind of the group feeling mentally going forwards?
I'm looking at them now. They seem to be all right. You know, you're going to win and lose in cricket. You're not going to win all the time. And if you allow a loss to dwell and get under your skin, it's going to affect you for a long time. But, you know, they came off the pitch. They were gutted when they come off the pitch, as they should be. They were a bit angry, a bit emotional, and that's expected. You know, they want to win every game of cricket they play, quite rightly. But we debriefed it after the game. Some honest truths came out, some good areas for development. 15 minutes later, we were having some food inside and ready to get on the coach. You can't dwell on losses. You learn from it, you take what you can from it, and you move on and make sure you're better next time. If anybody was still upset, disappointed, sulking, then we'd have to have some discussions to say, listen, we need to move forward because this ain't going to be the last game we lose. And without a loss, we don't learn as much as we need to learn.
And now to look forwards, finally back at Radlett this weekend, got Gloucestershire. For final home game after now a run of away games in July. How are you feeling ahead of that, and what you think Gloucestershire are going to bring?
Yeah, it's always nice to come back to Radlett. We call it our fortress, and it is our fortress. We seem to play really good cricket there. The last time we played Gloucestershire there, we were very good with the bat. Finty and Artemis both getting hundreds. I think with the ball in that middle period, we could have been a little bit better. I thought we struck brilliantly and struck early with the ball, but there was a period of play where Gloucestershire came back into the game. Not necessarily that we allowed them, but they fought brilliantly to get back into the game. But I think it was quite difficult for them chasing such a big score. Had it have been a 275, 280, I thought they really put themselves in position to chase it down. But such a big score means you have to keep going and keep going. So knowing what Gloucestershire will bring, we have to be on our best game once again. We can't allow them to get into the game at any point if we want to come out successful at the back end of it. So we've learned from the first 3 games. We've worked on the areas we need to work on. Now it's down to the girls to go out there and put those workings into practice, and hopefully have a great game of cricket.
Well, I hope you will. Best of luck and thank you very much.
Thank you, mate.